Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning LaLa, and I'm so excited to welcome Stephen Handisides to the show. He is the founder of the My Face, My Body Awards and the Ultimate Beauty Guide magazine. You are just spot on, Brian. Right? First of all, let me say, wow.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate it.
So incredibly handsome. Where did this journey for aesthetic beauty begin for you? I mean, because you are an expert in it.
Well, it sort of fell into my lap probably about 14 years ago, working for a big company out of university in marketing, and then took a year off through South America, just kite surfed and enjoyed life, and then got back to London and then got into the aesthetic sector and worked for a company that it was a very innovative treatment. It was where they would take a biopsy from the behind the ear, culture these fibroblast cells, re-inject them back into the face, and then all of a sudden your face would be rejuvenated, but
so, wow. Yeah, what are we talking about?
Yeah, exactly. You can have this little piece right here. So did you try this?
I had the biopsy. I never actually had the injections. It was about 70 injections into the face, very superficially, but I'm not a massive injection person, but throughout the last 14 years, I've had to put my body on the line and try to
How do you think he's so handsome?
Yeah. I'm 65, you know, and so, yeah.
You say you had to put your body on the line.
Yeah.
But do you secretly love it?
I think there are some fantastic treatments out there, you know, laser treatments and skincare treatments. There's something in there for everyone. I think the non-surgical side of the aesthetic industry is becoming a lot more popular. There's a lot more technologies out there, so you don't have to go under the knife straight away. There's always a place for plastic surgery as well. But yeah, I've had so much fun, you know, on my shows where I've done all sorts of crazy things to bust the myths around some of these plastic surgery, especially around breast implants.
If we haven't seen the viral video, as I have, tell us about the time you jumped out of the airplane.
Yeah, that one was, well, obviously I had a little secret where I wanted to jump out of the plane anyway, but why not do it with breast implants and get paid for it, right? So I strapped the two biggest ones I could find with some duct tape, and then jumped out of a plane and to see whether they would explode. Not a proper test, but it got the message out there and got circled all around the world through newspapers and other magazines and stuff. And
so what was the message?
The message was that you don't have to worry. So if you're in a plane and you're traveling, that if you do have breast implants, they're not going to pop. You know, the pressure's not going to be strong enough to make them pop. So
well, there you have it.
So on your bio on Instagram, it says you're master of ceremonies. What does that mean?
Yeah, is that what you call it over here? So my passion is MC work. I don't know if you're like a host.
Yes.
So I've done a lot of hosting jobs for lots of different other awards programs. Some of the interesting ones actually have been here in LA, where it's for Chinese events. No one understands what I'm saying, but they all laugh and smile. And
I get booked on these Chinese events all of the time, and it's so funny because they'll love you. They have no idea what you're saying.
Absolutely.
But take a selfie or 1200 with these people, and they have the best time, and you try the craziest food.
Oh yeah, you don't know what you're eating half the time.
No.
And, but it's, I usually have, there's usually a beautiful Chinese presenter next to me. She's usually cracking jokes at me and everyone's laughing. So then I'll try and crack jokes back there. And I think because I laugh, everyone's like, oh. You know what I mean? Like,
it's going to take the pressure off though. You don't have to get the words right all the time. It's fine.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's been fun. So I love being a host, and when I'm on stage, I just come alive, and then, I've got this big awards, our big awards program coming up on Friday at the Beverly Hills Wilshire, and you'll see me sort of in my prime.
Oh, I love it.
So let's talk about that. So it's My Face, My Body Awards.
Yes, so the My Face, My Body Awards I set up around 8 years ago, and it was really to recognise the aesthetic industry, recognise plastic surgeons, dermatologists, med spas for their customer excellence, but also those suppliers that are really innovating within our industry, and we're all about patient safety, patient health. So this event, there'll be just over there's about 350 attendees. We've got press, we've got TV personalities, we've got a lot of the big TV doctors, we've got practices from all over the country. Wow. It's just a massive event, and because we've been building it up, we run them in London, Sydney, Shanghai, So it's just been expanding.
I want to play a little bit of a devil's advocate here because
From the
I'm a
doctor of
warrior.
divinity.
yeah,
I love it.
warning here. You know, Good Morning LaLa. We're mainstreaming consciousness. We believe in all possibility. How the kind of the dance between finding your faith, finding your grounding in your truth, and yet still being in the material world. And of course, we're material world a lot around here. So how do you find the balance? How do you feel like, because there's a lot of sickness also around too much plastic surgery, especially in Southern Cal.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel about that? Like, what's your take? What's your personal take on, like, where's that line, or what works for you for people to find their balance in plastic surgery?
Yeah, I think, our journey through My Face, My Body, through all of the television shows I've done over the last 6 years, is about good education around, what are the safe procedures out there? Who are the reputable people to go and see? I think any good surgeon or doctor now will talk about natural results, and consumers as well. A lot of the time they'll say, well, I want to actually look good for my age. It's not about looking 10 years younger anymore. So there has been a shift in the mindset there. Now, you do get those consumers that they just want the big lips, or they want the over large breasts, and you can't stop that. And a good surgeon will be able to tell them to say, look, I don't think that's going to be right for your body shape. It's a little bit ridiculous. However, there's so many doctors out there that are probably more price driven that go, look, I'll give you what you want. So it does get a bad rap. However, there's a lot more, as I say, new technologies. There's a lot more sort of aesthetic people that are bringing wellness into the practice as well. So they're bringing in nutritional advice. There's lots of new products that are anti-aging from the inside, nutraceutical stuff. So, as I say, less and less on the plastic surgery, because there's all these more natural types.
And I've heard that men get more Botox than women.
Yeah, and they probably won't tell as many. Well, so
Not as open about it.
who's your source? Come on, who's your source?
It's me.
How's your Botox?
Me.
Yeah, look, hey, men are just, it's amazing seeing the trends now of more men trying more treatments. I mean, my new television show at the moment is called The Modern Male Mindset, where, I look at the whole gamut of grooming, style, etiquette. It's bringing back the old school gentleman, but with a modern twist to it. And we talk about aesthetics and how popular it is now for males, especially we find 35 plus. These men are really wanting sometimes a refresh. They might have had a significant event in their life, like a divorce, or they might have had a change in job, and they want that refresh, and Botox is easy.
Was good.
Yeah.
Mojo back, right?
I think you may need a co-host over here. He's one of the best dressed men. Everyone talks
you
about his
check,
dress,
Erin.
and everyone.
Absolutely.
Many checks. Yeah, appreciate that. I got a question for you. Because obviously, so good looking. You've got this great voice, and you've had experiencing this incredible success. What have you learned in the last 14 years about life and about business that you didn't know when you started?
Yeah, I suppose life, I think I really, right at the early stages of, I always knew that I wanted to set up my own business. And I think, the first thing you always go is like, how much money can I make and what material things can I buy? Once I had a personal coach for about 4 months and really sort of found myself a little bit more. And I knew that live presenting is really my passion, and where I think I can deliver my message the most effectively. So I think I really changed my perception to say, look, I want to change 1 million people's lives, before I die in the way of my presenting. And I'm still finding that a little bit in terms of how the business relates to it. I've got a great business in aesthetics, a training and marketing business, but I think on the modern male mindset, I'm doing a lot of work with males, giving them more confidence, not just on the outer appearance, but more of the mindset as well, which is...
I just love that. I work with a lot of executives, and I would say that in the last 20 years of working with those executives, executive presence is the number one thing that they've asked for over and over and over again. And you just described it so well, because it is all those things sort of together. So I can totally see you doing that and delivering that exceptionally well.
I think we have a match made in
I know.
modern mindset. Right here.
He's a modern male. You know, style,
He is definitely
etiquette.
your mindset co-host.
Yeah,
I love it.
Sure.
Tell
I'm
you,
in.
he's my man.
Totally.
How would you define the modern male mindset?
Yeah, the way I sort of define it is the modern male mindset is about, my core subject is, we see today that, you know, especially the younger generation, they're very much into selfies and instant gratification. And a lot of the gentleman has really sort of been left behind a little bit, where, you know, it's chivalry's not dead, you know, it's still nice to, you know, the cliche stuff about opening doors for women, you know, treating women differently. And I know there's a big movement over here as well with women, but we're a massive promoter of really sort of giving guys insight and confidence into, you know, different ways that they can hold themselves in social situations, business situations, you know, how to dress appropriately. But really, it's we see a lot of males, especially that even 45 plus, they're going through a lot of, I suppose, a lot more issues. They've seen a lot. So what we're trying to do is coach them and give them really simple ways to overcome some really simple challenges as well.
Well, and that brings up an important point in today's time in history, where I have a lot of men reach out, and they're so isolated. A lot of people are really isolated with computers and being at home, that they've lost touch with even how to even go out in the world.
Oh my gosh, so true.
Like, so I would imagine for you, you're even trying to like find, they may even reach out like, where do I go? And then there's dating apps, but then people don't actually connect.
Such a
Like,
good
so
point.
people reach out for help. You know, like, how am I going to deal with this? It becomes a major issue in their life. So do you deal with that? Do they reach out for
Yeah,
that?
yeah, it's a good point. I mean, you guys have probably experienced as well. I mean, all those dating apps have really sort of changed now the way we interact with people. We don't even need to speak to people. You know what I mean? It's amazing. So, yeah, that has, I suppose, you know, I think even with the younger generation, I've got a friend, you know, his son is very isolated, likes to stay in his room, play computer games, and doesn't really go out and interact and have those personable skills. But yeah, I mean, again, I think where these workshops that we do is getting guys together in a room just to actually talk amongst themselves.
I love this, and it's such a good point. And I didn't mean to interrupt you there, Jess. You know, we have a leg up here, at least the 3 or 5 of us that work here, and because we always have so many people come through the doors, right? And so it's easy to connect with people. And that being said, you know, when I was young, I would always struggle with like meeting people and like, you know, and a large part of that for me was I was like expecting people to take the action and be proactive with me. And when I discovered that I can go out and have a good time and I don't have to outsource any of my fun to them, I could just have fun by myself, just sitting there in the corner, all of a sudden I had the opposite problem where it's like, I just want to hide, right? But it's so helpful to have men like you though, you know, and a community of men like that you can connect with and kind of share these experiences over and kind of pick up little tips and tricks. So I appreciate you offering that.
Yeah, it's easy for women to get together, and you know, it's natural for you guys to just, you know, talk and chat. And we went, did a hike in Australia actually with just a small group of guys, about 8, and we went out, and it was a friend of mine actually organised it. It was a completely different experience. We'd stop throughout the 2-day hike, and we would just sit around in a circle, and we'd just talk, and we'd talk about anything, and just the things that these guys were speaking about, they just wanted to speak to another guy about. It was all sorts that came out, and everyone was able to console them and, you know, give some advice, and then we'd walk on for another couple of hours, we'd do a little bit of meditation, and for a lot of these guys that hadn't actually experienced that, I mean, just sitting by a river for an hour is really hard, you know, because your mind's going everywhere, you know, so
Totally.
So that was a really interesting 2-day event. I was thinking, how could I actually maximize that out? How could I do that to 200 people, you know?
I'm so excited. I want every man in my life to come on a hike
I
with
want
you.
I want you guys
Seriously.
to figure that out.
Yeah.
I want you guys, because I think there's so many men that are kind of feel separated with the women's movement. They're like, what about us over here a little bit? They're getting like, it's going the opposite way. And I think there's so many men that want to connect and have community. They're watching all these women's events and communities and stuff, and you guys need to create that.
You know what would make this extraordinary
event that you're offering even more extraordinary is if I can learn the accent and get the eyes. I think I would have
The accent, the Kiwi accent.
Yeah, that would take it to the next level. If that were possible
And
at
the
all.
perfect dusting of the
There you go.
established
Exactly. Salt,
gray.
pepper. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
nice.
Oh yeah, it's just all dusted in, Like my friends always give me hell. They say, "Oh, I like your black highlights that you put in your hair." And I think I got my first grey hair actually when I was 16.
Really?
And this girl plucked it, and I think I still blame her. I think that's
Oh, men always blame the woman.
yeah, exactly.
Why you resist persists, right? That's where all those grays came in. So how are you liking it? You moved from UK? Or no, you were first from...
You were going to say Australia, weren't you? Don't worry,
Australia?
I'll forgive you.
But then, no.
Originally New
I'm
Zealand.
so confused now.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's right. We got Kiwis, they got kangaroos. But I moved when I was 21 over to London, and then spent 14 years in London. And again, doing a lot of speaking, I had to change my accent a little bit. I mean, I did speech and drama when I was younger, and I thank my mother and father for that. But they struggle sometimes to understand me because some of the terminology. So it took me years to get over that. Now I come over here, wow, it's different here. And
So what do you think
here.
of Southern Cal?
Southern California, it's been a dream of mine to move over. I love the people here. I love the Americans. I just love your culture. And it became a reality, for anyone that, is want something enough. I've always believed, you can do it. And I worked hard at it and got a visa and then got a green card. And I've got a great business now and got some employees here and got some great friends already. So
All right.
it's good.
We're grateful for all the work that you're doing here and globally, making this world a more beautiful place. Tell people how they can find and follow you.
So you can follow me on Instagram's probably a good one, which is all my modern male mindset stuff, which is Handisides. My Face, My Body, and the Modern Male Mindset website. Any tips and tricks you want as a male, go on to Modern Male Mindset, or as I say, My Face, My Body. It's full of information for females and males.
Love it.
Nice.
Superb.
Thank you so much, Stephen.
Hey, no worries.
We'll be
Thank you
back
so
with
much.
more on Good Morning La La Land.